Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to understand the concept of spoilage and defective. This is new concept and we will go back to the basics. That means we will start from the scratch. Even if somebody who is listening for the very first time would be able to understand, because you can see over here what has been written. These are journal entries. Even the student which has started its management accounting, cost accounting, or financial accounting for the first day, that would be easily understood by him. So actually we are not going to solve any problem today. We will try to understand the concept. We will try to understand uh, spoilage and defective through journal entries. First stage is to understand this word spoilage. For the time being, this is first part of your lecture and we will not be focusing upon defective. We will be focusing upon spoilage only. Now please understand that we are manufacturing concern. We are with cost accounting, and cost accounting is concerned with manufacturing. Under manufacturing, there are few concepts which you are related with. Very first thing is material with which you will start your production, and then we will be related with labor, and then we will be related with factory overhead. So these are common words which we usually use in cost and management accounting. When you will start your manufacturing, what will happen? You will put your material, labor will start working, and with this working of labor upon material, your production would be started. There is another word another term which would be used, work in process. What does that mean? That labor has started their work and they are producing some finished goods by using the material, with which what you will say it's work in process. After a few hours, suppose you are making chairs. When your labor workers have started working on wood, they will be using wood, that means using material to convert into a product. So they have started their work. As they will complete everything, we will call finished products or finished goods are ready. So material, labor, FH, work in process, and finished goods. Now let's say you were making 10 chairs. As manufacturing process has been started and you have made chairs. And in total, suppose you have made 10 chairs by using your material, applying labor, and factory expenses mean you may be using electric power. Material which we have used is wood, and then you have applied labor. Electric power was used to operate machinery, or you have paid rent of your workshop. In this way, what is happening? Your labor had started working on wood and turning it into a usable product, that is chairs. They have produced 10 chairs while using electric power, or they were paying, or we are paying the rent for the workshop. So these three elements, material, labor, and FH, when you are combining these factors, products will start its production. When you have started your production, some work would be completed and remaining will be not in the finished shape, so it would be called your work in process. And finally, when 10 chairs would be completed, you will call it finished goods. Here I am requesting you to please repeat these factors. What is material, labor, factory overhead, work in process, and finished goods? To understand the spoilage, you will see that during the process, one chair was damaged due to any reason. Suppose a worker was taking tea and tea was dropped upon the finished product, that means chair, and this way the quality or the shape or appearance of that chair has been damaged. and obviously this damaged chair would not be able to sold on original price. So what you will do, you will sell it to a price which is lower than that of standard. I'm repeating it. You have made 10 chairs and one chair you have prepared. A worker was taking tea and tea was dropped upon that finished product chair, with which the shape of chair has been damaged or stains were appeared upon that chair. Fabric was damaged, and when you will present that chair at showroom, nobody would be willing to purchase that product because it was damaged. So instead of selling that product, let's say one chair price you have fixed was, original price was fixed as 2000 rupees. This was your original price. And while every other chair, this was your standard price. Now what had happened? One chair was damaged, and due to that damage, we will not be able to sell that chair at standard price, which is 2000. You have produced 10 chairs. One chair was damaged. How your labor worker has dropped tea, hot tea upon that chair, with which fabric of that chair has been damaged or polish has been damaged. So when you will place that chair at showroom, it would not be possible to sell that chair at standard price. So instead of rejecting that chair, what you have decided to sell that chair at a price which is lower than that of standard. So damaged chair price you have settled down as 1200. So original price was 2000, but due to damage now you are selling your chair for rupees 1200. So this way, this whole process, when you are dealing with your damaged chair which can be sold, please understand, a damaged chair which can be sold. So it's not a sort of damage which cannot be repaired. You can wash it, you can repolish it, or you can repair it. But even then, after repolishing, the quality or appearance would not be equal to the standard of original chair. So what you have decided to sell that chair for a price which is less than that of standard price. In this way, some part of damage has been recovered. Please note down damage. Second word is very important. Damage is recovered, or you can say that loss is recovered. In case when you are facing this situation that a product has been damaged, but even after that damage you can sell it, though the price which you will be receiving will be as low as compared to the standard price, but even then some part of damage has been recovered. Such loss which can be recovered is called your spoiled loss. Hopefully you have understand the concept. So spoiled loss is a sort of loss which can be recovered. Spoiled loss is a loss which can be recovered. So understood? You have made chairs. One chair was damaged, but you have started repairing it, repolishing it. But even then, the chair could not be placed as A pair. So you have started selling that pair as B. Instead of receiving original price 2000, you have received 1200. So some part of loss has been recovered. So a loss which can be recovered is spoiled loss. And spoiled loss can also be called, as I was saying, spoiled loss is a sort of loss which could be said recovered, recovered loss, a loss which can be recovered. So this is whole concept of spoilage, and now we will start working on it. First, what you will say, loss has happened, we accept, but this loss is not charged to production, rather is charged to department. This would be the heading which will be which we will use for the A part. In the similar way, we will be doing journal entries for second part, and what we will say opposite to this. Loss is not charged to the department. Here we will say loss charged to production. Please focus upon here. Loss is not charged to the production. Here loss charged to production. And second part was charged to the department, and what opposite we will write over here? Not charged to department. In this way, we will be doing journal entries for two different parts. Here we will be looking at when your loss is charged, and against it we will see when loss is not charged to the production. Our pattern has been completed. We have understood spoilage. As I have mentioned you, we are not talking about defective loss. We are talking about spoiled loss, a loss which can be recovered, though we will not be able to get original price and we'll have to face some loss, but a part of loss can be recovered. I have given you the example of making chairs. If you want to have another example, we can discuss it again. Let's say you were making shoes. So 10 pair of shoes you have manufactured, but suddenly one pair of shoe was dropped at floor, and the polish or the shape of that particular shoe has been damaged. You haven't rejected that pair of shoe. Instead, what you have done, you started working upon it and repair it. But even then, the loss was such type of loss which would not be recovered. So in this way, you will sell that asset at a price which is lower than that of standard. Standard price was 2000, so you have sold your pair of shoe at 1200. So some loss has been recovered and remaining is irrecoverable loss. So the whole phenomenon would be considered as spoiled loss, in which you will not be able to sell that particular product at right price. How much loss we are facing? Look at over standard price was 2000 and we have sold for 1200. So 800 amount is actual loss which is irrecoverable. So here we will be pointing out with our example, loss which was recovered is 1200 and irrecovered loss is 800. Out of 2000, we have just received 1200, which is recovered loss, and that is spoiled loss, and the loss which is not recovered is 800 rupees. I'm very hopeful that concept or story you have understood. We will now be focusing upon our journal entries. So first journal entry would be related with work. Work is started. How this work would be started? Very first thing is you will take material, labor would be applied, factory expenses will start, and here production will start. When you will start your production, what will happen? Your material will be used. In this way, your material would be decreased. You will open your packets of material, you will open the packets of raw wood, and that would be used. In this way your material will go out, material will be decreased. Decrease in material means decrease in asset which should be created, so we have created raw material. And when you will use this raw material, what will happen? Your work will be started. So what you will say, work in process, but with specific reference of material. In the similar way, what will happen? You will use your labor, and with this labor, work in process will start with specific reference of labor, and third is you will use your factory overhead. With this, what will happen? Your work in process associated with work in process associated with factory overhead will start. So this is your first entry, and what you have done is you have started your work with material, labor and FH. Now here you will mention how much loss is recovered. As I have told you that in case of spoiled, some loss would definitely be recovered. And how? As it was said that the standard price of chair was 2000, 1200 you have received after that loss. It means some loss has been recovered. It's a good thing, favorable thing. All favorables are mentioned on debit side. So here you will write spoiled goods. But what you will say, we will write it as recovered loss. But obviously, when goods are spoiled, your work in process would be decreased. So here you will write work in process material due to damage that has been decreased, and then work in process labor, and similarly you will see work in process not material, rather FH you will see. So here you will change it FH. Okay, so in this way your second entry is completed, and now I would like to explain how this spoil would be calculated. Here you can write the formula. You will see how many number of units are spoiled, and then you will multiply it with recovery. How much recovered price would be written over here. So this would be your formula, and I would like to let you know that this is very important. Without it you would not be able to complete this entry. So please keep it in mind. Let's make little more space. So units are multiplied by recovered per unit amount. As I have told you that it's not suitable over here, what should I do? I'm going to write it at separate place. Here you can consider it as working. So let's take it from here and say it's working 1, and we are going back downward. When journal entries are ending, here we can show what is working 1. So amount of spoiled goods working 1, and how much loss is recovered. Spoiled units you will write over here, and you will multiply it with recovered price. And how much was recovered price? You can see that standard price was 2000, and damaged chair price which was recovered, this is your recovered loss 1200. So example was one chair was damaged and 1200 you have received. So with this formula, what you will say, one chair you have spoiled and recovered price was 1200. In this way you will write 1200 over here, after which you will divide this 1200 into these three parts. This is very important to understand how you will divide this 1200 in these three parts, as in question amounts of these would not be available and you will have to manage it by yourself. Okay, for calculation of this two work in process material, labor and fetch, what you will do here, let's say amount of spoiled we can mention, and we are naming it as S. So how would you calculate amount? Here you can write work in process material, work in process labor, work in process FI, just supposed amount we are writing over here. So calculation for amount to be written in front of this work in process, you will take S at first, and then you will multiply it with work in process material bracket, and then you will divide sum of work in process material labor and FH. You can directly write, or you can take the sum of work in process material labor FH. What I was saying, work in process material, work in process labor, work in process FH. So in this way you will be able to calculate its amount. Formula has been mentioned over here. It would be requested to you to please comprehensively understand these formulas, with which there will not be any difficulty. Otherwise, that would be a matter of worriness or botheration. Let me handle it first. Okay. Now let me know what would be the formula for second. What we have done, sale multiplied by work in process material divided by sum. And now again what you will do, spoiled goods, this spoiled goods, it would be multiplied by work in process labor, and then you will divide it with sum. Okay, actually we can take this formula and we'll write as it is over here. And now we will change second formula, and here what you will do, only this work in process material we will delete. Instead of that, work in process labor would be written. Let's little zoom it so that you can understand it little better way. Okay, look at here. This amount is working one, and we have seen working one how number of units spoiled with recovered price. As in example of chairs, one chair was damaged and you have recovered 1200 from that damaged product. So spoiled amount would come over here. This amount multiplied by work in process material and divided by sum. And then this spoiled amount multiplied by work in process labor divided by sum. And third would be spoiled amount, and it would be multiplied by work in process F. Alright guys, in this way we will complete our second entry. Let's back to the original zooming position. In this way your two entries would be completed. Work in process material would be given in the question, work in process labor would be given in the question, work in process FH would be given in the question. And its formula is very easy. If units are given in question, you will multiply per unit cost of material. Again, same would be used for remaining two, but here unit cost of labor would be used, and over here unit cost of FH would be used. Upon here, what is this? Actually, I am going to change material instead of FH. So here these are formulas, and you will have to only three entries you will be doing, and with these three entries you can complete whole of your question. Kindly understand, units would be multiplied by per unit cost of material. Units would be given in the question, total units, and per unit cost of material would be given in the question. Everything would be available in the question. In this way you will complete your first entry. So I was telling you these amounts would be given in the question. When you will multiply given amounts present in your question, you will get amount of material, labor, effort. Same amount would be written over here. For spoiled goods, we have seen our working. Spoiled goods would be multiplied by recovered price. Amount would be written over here, and this amount would evenly be distributed in three parts with these formulas. You will take spoiled amount, multiply work in process material divided by sum of these. Two entries are now completed. Now please understand how to do your third entry. Your third entry is for finished entry would be for finished goods. Please excuse me for just few seconds. So actually battery was low. I was going to attach the switch. Now come over here. These finished goods last entry we are going to make, and if there are finished good, it is good for us. It is favorable for us. So favorables are asset. Asset should be mentioned on debit side. So what you will do, finished goods would be written over here. And what will happen when you have started your work in process, it was debit, and now work in process has been ended. So what you will do, work in process, instead of writing, I will be copying these words. Same you will pick and will write over here. In this way, your third entry would also be completed. Now problem is how you will write amounts over here. Though we have completed our entry, but it's time to see its amount. How would we write? Three entries are completed, and I'm just putting ending line over here. As you can see that we have calculated amounts for first entry. These are formulas. And then we have calculated amounts for second entry. These are formulas. In the similar way, you will have to calculate the amounts over here. Finished goods amount would not be present in the question, and what you will do, you will calculate the amounts. There is one direct method and one is indirect method. What is direct method? You have your amount work in process material over here. Work in process is being debited. In second entry, work in process material is credited. So what you will do, you will subtract this credit amount from debit amount and will write over here. And second method is to make ledgers. I will let you know how to make this ledger, and we will be discussing it later on as well. Here you will be making ledger for first entry. So work in process, but for material you will be working. As you have already made ledgers for so many times, here you will write particulars, then amount, again particulars, and amount would be written over here. Now come to the point. Work in process material is debited over here. Why not we should have some amounts. As an example I'm writing, let's say 10 is written over here, then 20 is written over here, just giving you an example. 20, and then we have our third amount, which just suppose it these amounts are 30, 10, 20 and 30, and the amounts which are written over here, already we do not have space. Suppose these amounts are, just giving you example, 2, 4 and 6. Amount present at debit side of work in process 10, 20 and 30. Amounts present on credit side 2, 4, 6. We will make ledger of work in process material. So we will see if work in process is debit, we will post on debit side. If work in process is present on credit side, we will post on credit side. So come over here, first entry, work in process is debited by 10. So you will post amount 10 over here, and reason, whatever would be written on the opposite side would be your detail or reference to material is written. So you will write to material over here. Second entry, work in process is credited. Here work in process is credited by 2 rupees as an example. So you will write 2 rupees on credit side. Now see the reference. We have spoiled goods as a reference would be used. So spoiled goods would be written over here. There were only two entries, work in process material debit, work in process material credit, and that's all. No other entry was present. Here you will start balancing this amount. First step is to calculate the total upon debit side and then total upon credit side. Here total was 10 and total on credit side is 2. Larger total would be put. Larger total is 10, so you will put this larger total on both sides. Next step is to see smaller side. Smaller side is 2. So here you will choose the balance. However, you will calculate the balance by subtracting smaller amount from the larger amount. So larger amount was 10, subtract smaller amount which is 2. In this way your balance has been calculated. And this balance 8 you will post upon here. And what I was saying, you can directly post as well. Work in process debit was 10 and work in process credit was 2. 10 minus 2 would be written over here. In the similar way, you will be making ledger for work in process labor, work in process FOH. Three ledgers would be made, and finally you will write the amount over here. Directly what we can do, 20 is debited and work in process labor. Work in process labor is credited by 4. So you can write over here, on debit side it was 20, on credit side it was 4. So you will write 16 over here. In the similar way, debit side of FOH was 30 and credit side is 6. Here you can write debit side 30, credit side 6. So you have got your third amount. Okay, now please note it down. I have made ledger and I have told you to see the direct, to see how we can write direct amount. But keep it in mind, you are not allowed to write amount without making ledger. Please understand, you will make ledger for everything, and without making ledger you will not be allowed to write down the amounts. So as you can see that this balance was calculated and finally you have wrote this balance over here. In the similar way, you will make ledgers for work in process material as you have completed. You will make ledger for work in process labor, work in process effort. 3 ledgers would be made and balance would be written over here. And final touch is what? You will add these 3 amounts. First 8, then add second 16, then add third 24. This way your total amount of finished goods would arrive. We have completed one part of this question. First entry you have seen supposed amounts were written over here. I am requesting you to please understand only this. This is key point and believe me, it's not as complicated as you can imagine. Very simple thing is amount of spoiled goods which we have calculated through working 1, it would come, and after which this amount of S would be distributed among these 3 factors. And how we will distribute, the formulas has been written over here. S would be multiplied by work in process material and divided by sum of this. In this way 3 amounts will arrive. I am requesting you to complete it. Okay, for next part there is a good news. Whatever you have written over here, same amounts would be written at right side as well. So if you can believe it, I'm taking this entry and same entry would be posted over here. No change, nothing would be changed. And come to the third entry. This is your third entry, and beside it we will write 2 every time. So here I am mentioning 2 since it was in credit side. So let it make with 2. Now what I was saying, you will take third entry and will take as it is to the right side. Amounts would be changed, that's what I will let you know. Okay, for second entry what you will do, this is your second entry. Again you will pick this entry almost as it is, you will post over here, except one difference. So what you will do, you will pick these headings, will create a space, and here there would be a different element posted. Okay, come to the example again. This was your example. You were manufacturing chairs. One chair was damaged and you have sold that chair for rupees 1200. 800 was the loss which was not recovered. The only difference would be here. You will write FH and this is not recovered, or you can say it a loss. And how would you calculate that loss? The amount which was not recovered. So here you can post it FL, the loss. Formulas would be changed over here, and this is last thing, please focus upon here and do not lose your concentration. Just one difference you will make in this formula. Instead of just S, what you will do, you will add loss as well, and then you will multiply it with work in process material and divide it by 7, and that's all. Everything would be calculated in the similar way, and ledgers would be made as it is over here. You can see you have made ledger of work in process material. Similar way you will make work in process ledger material over here. Amounts we will be looking in different way over here. And what I was saying, you will make ledger or work in process material. Similarly, you will be making ledger for work in process labor. And finally, the third ledger would also be made. Obviously, these amounts would be changed. And third ledger which you will make is work in process FH. You will change name over here, FH. So this way, ledger number 1 would be work in process material. Then ledger number 2, work in process labor. Ledger number 3, work in process FH. And all these 3 ledgers would also be present over here as well. So similarly, you will make 3 ledgers at here in second part as well. Now it is requested to please take a view of Let me show you in one page. At this point, layout is not present for one page. Let me see if it is present over here. No. Okay, let's zoom out. So what you have done right now, this is your full page which you can see. At left side you have 3 entries, at right side you have 3 entries, at left side 3 ledgers, at right side 3 ledgers. This is all what you will be doing in your question, and right now we are related with spoiled goods only. This was your first lecture, first introductory lecture. What is your target? You will have to memorize these entries, 3 entries on the left side and same entries we are doing on right side, except for this difference, factory overhead. This was the only one word which was different. Remaining you can see the entry written on left side, same entry on right side. Third entry written on left side, same for the right side, except for the second entry. And in second entry everything is same, except we have included another additional word of FH on debit side. So 3 ledgers you will be making at the end of question, and these ledgers would be used to calculate the amount which would be written upon here at 3 places. So it's now your responsibility to start your practice and make sure that these 6 entries are 100% in your mind, 3 ledgers 100% in your mind. But even then, if you have any difficulty, if you want to ask anything, you are very open to ask. For the time being, we are ending our lecture. It was related to spoiled, and it was related to spoiled only. Defective would be discussed in next lecture. Only 6 entries are your target and 6 ledgers are your target. Whole chapter is including this, nothing else we will be discussing under the heading of spoiled goods, and then we will see what we are willing to do for the defective goods. For the time being, lecture has been ended. We will be meeting soon again for understanding and discussion of defective goods. So it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully, we will surely be meeting again, and I'm surely be answering you regarding this question. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.